Welcome back. We have another testimonial with one of our clients that just graduated Evolve. I have to say, Lyndsay, I'm going to miss seeing you and working with you, but so proud of you and all of the things that you've accomplished and really excited for you to share your story today. So I'll let you take it away. I would love for you just to kind of introduce yourself and share with everybody who's watching a little bit about your journey and where your weight loss journey began.
Okay, so my weight loss journey began probably 20 years ago, honestly. I feel like I've been fighting it for years. But more specifically in 2015, I had reached my highest weight ever. I had never been so heavy. I was uncomfortable. And so there was an email list that I had signed up for, a local trainer. He was putting out a 6-week, 20-pound weight loss challenge, and he said it was free. So I signed up for it. Well, what it was is you pay, I don't remember what it was, like close to $300. And you follow the diet plan, you follow the workouts for 6 weeks straight, follow the rules, you lose 20 pounds, you get a full refund, or you could roll that money over into another challenge. So knowing I had so much weight to lose, my thoughts were, hey, I'm going to kill this. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm just going to keep doing it until I'm down to where I want to be. So I did everything I was asked to do, logged in 5 days a week to the live streaming workouts. They were at 6 p.m. Did it in my living room. I had nowhere else to do it at. I had to take a picture of the screen, post it on Facebook, which was something that I was a little nervous about because I don't really put a lot of stuff like that on Facebook anyways, but hey, whatever, I was killing it. So I did everything I was told to do. Truth be known, I was scared to death of the trainer because he was not afraid to call anyone out publicly.
Oh gosh.
Them not doing it. So yeah, it was, he, even though I didn't see him in person and I just watched his weekly videos and things like that, like he really got in my head. And there were times that I thought, oh my gosh, I feel like he's talking right to me, even though there's no way, that. So anyway, I did 4 rounds of the challenge and I lost 60 pounds. And I even started doing specialty classes at his personal training site with some of the trainers that were the trainers for the weekly workouts or the daily workouts.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where I really started enjoying working out and eating healthier. It really became like a part of who I was. Like people would joke around that, oh, if she's not here, she's definitely, working out. So fast forward probably about the 4th challenge, the eating plan was getting very restrictive and I found myself more and more off the plan. And so naturally, even though I was still working out and paying a lot of money for these extra classes, my weight loss was stalling. And it was just staying there. And so I got really frustrated mentally. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop paying for the classes. I'm not following the meal plan 100%. So this is where my all or nothing mentality came from. If I'm not doing it 100%, then I'm just not doing it at all. And I think that was kind of something drilled in my head too. Like if you're going to do it, it's only 6 weeks. So anyway, so over the course of 2 to 3 years, I fell back into my old habits. I gained my weight back. I stopped working out as much. And at this point, I had even built this small little shed that I'm in. Well, I say I built it. We had it. We renovated it for this purpose. And because I thought maybe if I had that place that I would come back to it. And I struggled, like I just continued to struggle ever coming back to it. So.
Yeah, but not anymore.
Nope. Nope.
So I would love for you to share a little bit. I mean, I think a lot of people, and I know I have struggled with this in the past, if I was given a meal plan or a very restrictive protocol, I almost felt like I was cheating. I was a bad person. I was doing something wrong if I went off of the plan. And mentally, that can really take a toll on us, right? It can make it really challenging because we start to moralize food. And if I'm bad because I ate carrots or bananas, for example, that aren't on this very restrictive meal plan, then I'm a bad person. And so if I've, already had something not according to plan, why not just enjoy the rest of the day? So what were some of your mental struggles, and just like your relationship with food outside of like gaining a little bit, of that weight back after stopping being, the very, very restrictive protocol? How did you feel like mentally, and how did you, approach food or think about food?
Well, so I started like, I feel like seeking out, and maybe it sometimes would just fall under my nose on social media, but I started seeking out like maybe the next best thing, something that, I wouldn't have to eat so restrictive. Like his meal plan was just, eggs, chicken, and fish. And honestly, he told us we could only have chicken at lunch and fish at dinner. And so mentally, I always thought, okay, I have to eat this certain way. And so I knew there had to be a different way. And so like I would kind of fall into other things like keto, Optavia, HCG, all these different things that I thought, okay, maybe I can lose the weight just as fast, but I don't have to eat exactly like that. Naturally though, like after doing them for a while, they're pretty restrictive too. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm going back to the basics, back to what I know, back to what I know I did when I lost 60 pounds. And that was eating this specific plan, these specific foods, and working out 5 days a week for 45 minutes. And, several times I tried to go back to that. And I would have good intentions, good motivation. And then, slowly it would just fade away because don't feel like I was ever taught how to eat. So mentally, I just thought, okay, these foods are the only foods that if I want to lose weight, this is how it has to be because this is what worked last time. And I mean, I mentally beat myself up all the time that maybe you just don't want it bad enough. You've done it once before, you just can't get back to that mental state. Like you just don't want it bad enough. So, I got to the point where like foods that I always were told were healthy, I didn't think were healthy anymore. Like fruit, regular rice, not just brown rice, but white rice, yogurt, things like that, And so I got to a place where I wouldn't even eat those things because they weren't on the plan.
Yeah. So restrictive. And that's not a way to live long term. Like we always say, what are we doing 5, 10 years from now? And, I know that I want to be enjoying a wide variety of foods and be able to have tasty foods, and make it fun and enjoyable while still also, nourishing my body and being cognizant of balanced meals and so forth. So on your hunt and your search to find, a different solution, what stood out about FitMom? What motivated you to, start with us in the Evolve program?
Okay, well, I was searching for something sustainable. No matter how long it's going to take me to reach my goals, I was tired of spending so much money, so much time and effort towards something that I felt like there's no way, like keto, there's no way I can never eat carbs again. Optavia, there's no way I could spend that kind of money every month on food. HCG, those were shots. And I had to give them to myself. And I look back and I think how insanely crazy that was, that I thought that was normal and okay to take an appetite suppressant and to shoot myself in the fat of my stomach every day was something that I don't even really know what was in it. I just knew I wanted to be thinner. Mm-hmm. So I was tired of that. I wanted something sustainable. So I came across you guys, I signed up for the emails, and the fact that I was able to call or schedule a call with you guys and actually talk to one of you person to person for you to get to know me as an individual was a big thing to me, because a lot of the other things I had come across that were maybe somewhat similar, they were more probably like an Instagram influencer having a 6-week challenge and, she made your meal plans and talked to you through email, but this wasn't like that. You guys talked to me one-on-one, got to know me as a person, and that was a big deal for me. So the personal connection, other than through an email or an app, was the big reason why.
Yeah. We like to see our girls on Zoom and really get to know you and foster that relationship, because you're a human with a lot of emotions and a different lifestyle than anybody else. And so just throwing a meal plan or macros or calories or whatever isn't what this is about. This is about helping you achieve success long term. So I'd love for you to share just a little bit about so what were some of your goals, when you started with us, besides just weight loss, with your lifestyle, thinking about long term, the 5, 10, 15-year view? What were some of the things that you wanted to learn about and accomplish and evolve?
So I was struggling with sleep. I was struggling with digestion. I always felt bloated. I was waking up with acid reflux all the time. I really just kind of wanted to learn and understand how to feed my body sustainably. That would be something I could keep up with long term, teach my family, teach my husband, and teach my daughter, and the sleeping thing was really becoming a problem. I really kind of blamed it on my husband a little bit, but maybe it wasn't him as much as I thought. Maybe it was just more so that I just wasn't sleeping good in general. And I was getting up several times in the middle of the night. Like I said, waking up feeling horrible about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And who wants to do that whenever it's about an hour or so before they have to get up to go to work? So
yeah. And how do you feel now? How is sleep now? How is digestion, acid reflux?
It's all so much better. I rarely have any issues with sleeping unless I've had caffeine or something, not really meaning to, not thinking about it.
I know that 3 or 4 o'clock time frame, you're like, oh, but a coffee sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. I did that yesterday. Big mistake.
Hey, I am not immune to that. Some days I will say, even though I have a 2 p.m. rule, there have been days here or there where I'm like, I just love the taste of it, So, but yes, I'm very happy because I know that was a huge thing when we first started, that acid reflux, sitting in your chest and just feeling like, you're waking up with that heartburn, and it's so uncomfortable. So we fixed all of that. We fixed sleep. We got our food balanced, and we started eating more, and we lost weight.
Yeah.
So share a little bit just about what were some of your greatest achievements, in the program that you feel have been impactful that you'll take with you and carry with you going forward?
So I feel like I have a lot of these. One, my relationship with food, that I know how to eat now. I know what I can eat. I know what I can't eat. And can't eat by not because you guys told me, oh, that's a bad thing, you can't eat it, but how it makes me feel. I know how different foods make me feel now. So, and it's a lot easier to not want those things whenever you know how bad they can make you feel.
Yeah.
But so having said that, I feel like I'm more empowered to make healthy choices for myself and even my family. I've kind of gotten my family on board, believe it or not, with some of my cauliflower fried rice and stuff like that. So, but I've started working out again, which I thoroughly enjoy doing again. I've actually missed it. Didn't think I would. For a while there, I didn't even want to do it. I thought there had to be a way that I could do this without working out, but that's not the case. There are way too many benefits to doing it. So, but I no longer have the all or nothing mindset that I had. I look at my goals more of a long-term, not just short-term. And I just strive every day to be 1% better than I was yesterday. And I've also, one of the big ones, I've learned to give myself grace when needed and grit whenever I need it to. And that's something you guys have helped me with so much, because there were times like we would get on our call and we'd look at my food log and I'm like, oh, I know it's not great. And you're like, you know what? That's better than you were doing 2 months ago, you know? And so that meant a lot to me. And that's really stuck with me. And I carry that with myself all the time. Like, you know what? It is what it is. You make the best of the situation that you're in, choose the best foods that you can, and just roll with it. So
it's funny as we look back to the beginning. I don't know if funny is the right word, but when we look back at the beginning and we see where we were at, right? Some of those foods that you were consuming, like I think about the time that you went to the cattle show with your daughter and you guys were staying in the RV and we had our call that week. And from that moment forward, you never backslid. Like you really took that conversation, you grasped it and was like, I don't want to feel this way. And I know how these fried foods, make me feel, high sugar foods, things like that. And so you took that and ran with it and you started putting plans in place. And again, we never expect perfection. It's really about how am I continuing to tune in and listen to my body and identify, like in the situation at hand, what is, the better choice. And it doesn't mean that we won't sometimes pick the choice that just sounds yummy and delicious, right? We'll have treats here and there, of course, but it's that we're balancing things now so much better, which is amazing. And so that was always fun. I think at the end of, our program to go back and look at like the beginning logs compared to, as we wrap up. So what are your goals now as you fly on your own and you move forward and put these habits into action on your own?
So going forward, I want to work more on consistency with my macros, specifically my protein. It's not a ton of protein, but I have days where I have a hard time hitting them. And so that's something that I really want to focus on. And then, I know we've done that working together. You guys have always told me, hey, at least think about your protein first, and then you can kind of start with the rest. And so that's my plan going forward, is to maybe even increase my protein a little bit. Maybe.
Yes.
And I want to continue to be consistent with my workouts. I feel like there for a bit around the holidays, it got harder because life was getting in the way and I just didn't make it a priority like I should have. And now that I have, it's like I write it down, I plan it out, and maybe I don't get to do it at the time I wanted to do it, but no matter what, I always get it in, and I always feel so much better whenever I do. So even if I have to drop my weights down because I'm not feeling as good that day, or whatever, just getting something in makes me feel so much better. It makes me feel like I'm doing something good for myself. So, and then the other thing is just kind of learning what intake is best for me, depending on what specific goal I'm trying to achieve at that time, and just kind of focusing on how to plan all that out.
Yep. Periodizing your year and continuing to think, that all or something instead of all or nothing. I pivoted today, changed my workout timing today. Didn't want to do it at, the time that it came, but I was like, it's on my calendar. I show up for myself. And so I love what you said. And I want to go back and if you can repeat it, when you talked about giving myself grace when needed, but also utilizing the grit, because that's one thing. And think a lot of people, we can get into that place very easily of life is hectic, work is busy, my daughter has a show or, whatever the case may be, but really also recognizing that my goals still matter. And I need to practice the grit right now, and stay consistent and stay the course and do what I can in that season. So I love that you said that. That's definitely a quote. So how would you summarize your experience as a whole with working with FitMom, Becca, and myself?
Well, I feel like it was, if I could just put it in one word, the easiest thing ever is life-changing. I've learned so much, and I will never go back to that old mentality and mindset that I had. I know talked to you guys about looking into the nutrition and fitness classes. So I'm still looking into that, kind of deciding when I want to do it and how I want to do it. Like I've mentioned, I don't know that I will ever go forward with doing that, helping other people. Maybe I will at some point. I don't know. But I've always had a passion for it, and I just really want to learn. So even if I don't go forward with utilizing it to help other people, the more I can learn, the better I can be for myself, the better I can work on different areas, you know. So that's, I mean, the biggest thing, being able to talk with you guys weekly and having that help. I mean, it changed me so much. The podcast, I mean, everything. I will never look at dieting the same again.
I'm so happy to hear that, because I think it's so hard when we're in that short-term mindset. They're like, oh, I'll buckle down and I'll do this. But then when we're done, it's like, where do I go from here? And so the fact that you will take all of the habits that you've instilled and continue they're ever evolving. We are all ever evolving as humans, right? Becca and I are ever evolving. Our programs are ever evolving. We're all ever evolving. And that means continuing to learn, continue to put into application, the habits. And, like you mentioned, in different seasons, adjusting my intake levels, seeing how my body responds, because you will respond differently, in different seasons. So I love that. So last two questions, if you were to recommend our coaching, let's say to your best friend, what would you say to them?
I would tell them all the things I've learned and how much you both have helped me mentally. And I also would say, time's going to go by either way. You can either continue to seek out the next quick weight loss trend, spend a ton of money on it, and then turn around and, fail again because it more so failed you because it was not sustainable. That's kind of the way I look at it. I try not to think about the fact that, maybe I didn't keep up with that diet or whatever it was. I feel like it more so failed me. They never taught me how to really eat and how to survive after that. So, but you can either continue to go through this vicious circle like I have, or, you can hire a fit coach with you guys, a nutrition coach or FitMom nutrition coach. I screwed that one up too.
Okay.
Damn it.
Just say it again. Just say
edit out part of that.
Or you can hire. Just say that. Or you can hire a FitMom.
Yeah. Or you can hire a FitMom coach to be your personal nutrition coach, because they will get to know you as an individual and tailor everything to your specific needs. And the best way to learn about your body and your needs and how to sustain them long term is to have a coach and someone who can help you, just yourself as an individual.
Understand.
That's all I got.
Totally fine. So the last one.
I don't know why this is so hard.
It's totally fine. You were cracking me up. My cheeks hurt. The last question is, so what advice would you give? Well, first, let me back up. Well, thank you. That's such an honor. For Becca and myself, like, we truly value the individualization factor, and we value seeing our clients one-on-one and in our group calls. Like, we want to see you guys face-to-face, because again, you're all humans and there's a lot of things we got to work through, especially from the mindset side and emotional side. So what advice would you give to new clients or people that are just coming into the program?
Well, my biggest advice to them is just listen to the podcast, because there's so much you can learn from them. Have faith in yourself that you can do this. And again, have the grit when you know that you need it, because sometimes, like you said, you kind of get lost in life happens and you try to justify it whenever you really know deep down you could make it different. Mm-hmm. And lastly, just put your head down and do the work, because the results will follow. Mm-hmm. That's my biggest thing I've been telling myself lately, is I know my goals, I know what I want to accomplish, and I'm just going to put my head down and do the work, because at some point, it's all going to creep up and I'm going to be like, oh my gosh. my body composition's different or my clothes fit different. So
Yep. You wake up one day and all of a sudden it's like, I see it, that hard work that I've been
yeah,
putting in. It's
yeah,
hard in the midst of the journey, right? We see the scale going down and we find some traction and we're excited. The motivation is there. But then there's also seasons of life where stress is higher. Maybe we're eating more closer to maintenance. And it's hard too, I think, in that phase as well to remember that we still have
mhm,
goals. And so we're not here to spiral backwards. We're here to continue to show up and do the best that we can given the situation. I always think about like the good, better, best, right?
yep,
Best is when we can really dial things in. Better is better than nothing, right?
right,
And then on some days it's like, okay, good is good enough. And I will focus on, making tomorrow even better than today because maybe today fell apart. I know you've had a lot of crazy stress with work lately, getting called into the office and, it's constant like pivoting and adjusting, but you're still keeping your goals in mind and still, like you mentioned earlier, showing up for your workouts, even if it doesn't get done at the time that I planned or was ideal, I'm still pivoting to get it in.